Everybody's got a price, it's the $1 million man. Podcast in demand. Understand, everybody's got a price. $1 million man. Everybody's got a price. $1 million man. Everybody's got a pod, it's the $1 million man. Podcast in demand. Understand, everybody's got a price. $1 million man. Everybody's got a price.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus D'Angelo. We are back for another episode of Everybody's Got a Pod. And, of course, I'm joined by the man himself, WWE Hall of Famer, the legendary $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Ted, how are you? How are you, my friend?
Marcus, I feel like $1 million. No, I'm good. I'm having a good day.
Good, dude. Good. I'm glad to hear it. And I think our day is going to get even better. And so's the day for our listeners, because today, Ted, we're looking back to a period that people ask about online all the time. People love talking about your period in Mid-South Wrestling. And today, it's a look back 40 years to 1985. We're going to be picking up where we left off. Man, does it feel like 40 years have gone by, Ted?
It's like it. Yeah, I guess it does. I mean, it's like I go, wow, man. I was thinking about that, man. 40 years.
40 years.
You know, and so, I mean, 40 years ago would make me, I was 31.
So it's still a spring chicken.
Now, so.
Still a young man, still before your days as the $1 million man. But this is a period of time, dude, that the fans point to all the time. I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah.
Before we do, though, I did want to mention that tomorrow, as this episode is coming out, it'll be Saturday, July 12th, and I am going to be wrestling. I'll be with IWC, and I've got a shot at the high stakes championship. Now, that belt is in my possession. I took the belt because it should have been mine in the first place. But I'm going to be challenging for it, I guess, against Felix Cause there at IWC Wipeout. It's at Mark's Court Time in Elizabeth, Pennsylvania. If you can't be there in person, make sure that you watch it on Triller TV. Ted, I think I might be having to put that glove to good use. I knocked that dude out and took the belt last time. I'm just going to do it again.
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea to me.
Well, I took inspiration from you. Of course, it was a gift from you, which I really appreciate. And now we're looking back. It's 40 years, and you had that glove on your hand back in those days. And like I said, we're going to be picking up where we left off last time. You were just returning from a tour of Japan in May of 1985. And in your first match back, yourself and Doc are going to defeat the Rock and Roll Express in Houston to capture the tag team titles. You know, Ted, Jake always talks about how he hates tag team wrestling. He hated it because...
He hated what?
He hated tag team wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason he hated it, he says, is because he couldn't structure the match the way he wanted to. He would have things going the way that he wanted. He'd tag out, and then his partner would go and do some entirely other thing. Now, on the other side of that, Arn Anderson, who we're also friends with, Arn says that if tag team wrestling is done right, it'll steal the show. So, Ted, I'll ask you, what did you think about tag team wrestling as opposed to being a singles wrestler?
Marcus, I loved tag team wrestling. I mean, it's kind of like when tag team wrestling is done right, it can be more exciting than a singles match. Mm. It's kind of, and where it is, it's once the heels get one of the good guys down, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on before that. I mean, you're back and forth, but once they got him down, and now it's like the rest of the match is him trying to make the hot tag, and that can be so exciting. And I mean, there's so many things you can do with that. And like, it's kind of like he almost gets there. He almost gets there. And he doesn't get there. He almost gets there. And then, the extra guy that's on the apron for the bad guys, he runs down the ring apron, which causes me to leave my corner. And then the referee turns and looks at me and points me back to my corner, which gives the bad guys more opportunity to just switch. And anyway, it's like a tag team match done well it builds and it builds and it builds until you finally get the hot tag, and then all hell breaks loose, and the baby face comes in, starts making a comeback, and then the other heel comes in, and then you got a four-way going, and if it's done really right, there's two ways to go. You can blow that comeback off with a win, or, and in some cases, they make a great comeback, and then the heels will do something underhandedly, and they'll steal a win that they didn't deserve. So anyway, but that's wrestling, But I mean, the excitement in a tag team match is the baby face crawling and trying, and he almost gets there and he doesn't. He almost gets there and he doesn't. And when he finally makes that hot tag, if it's done right, I mean, the building will explode. So anyway.
Man, I love it. And, kind of as you're laying all that out, it's, no wonder Jake doesn't like tag team wrestling, because he never had like a solid, consistent partner. You, on the other hand, had solid, consistent partners like Doc or Stan Hansen, of course. The same thing with Arn Anderson. He had Tully Blanchard. It's like once you develop chemistry with somebody, it's like the guy's doing what you want because you're always on the same page with him, right?
Yeah. And again, when Steve Williams, Dr. Death, when he broke in, I mean, brother, he had just left the University of Oklahoma, and he was a stud football player for OU, and Bill Watts basically put him with me to help bring him along, and he caught on quick, and he was good.
It was fun watching back a lot of this stuff from these days, because you guys did really have good chemistry and you worked well as a team. He was kind of like the big killer. You were a little bit more cerebral. It was fun, entertaining. Yourself and Steve are going to go on to work with Ricky and Robert quite a bit during this period. Ted, their style at the time was pretty innovative, and they were doing a lot of like high flying stuff that would inspire some of the spectacular things that we see in wrestling today. At the time, did you like the more fast-paced wrestling that those two were doing, or was it not really your cup of tea?
Hey, brother, I enjoyed it, whatever it was, as long as it was done right. You know what I'm saying? And those guys, they were a hell of a tag team, and obviously baby faces, and so they just worked very well together. And again, when tag team wrestling is done the way it should be done, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's almost like watching a movie, because, when you watch a movie, there's a good guy and a bad guy. There's a good cause and there's a bad cause. And the movie, first presents both sides. And then, whatever happens. And the rest of the movie is about, now, this is not all movies, but the rest of the movie, in a lot of cases, is about the good guys fighting to get back and fighting for the opportunity to let all hell break loose. And, you have this, huge, yay moment at the end of the movie. So,
yeah. And they were both undersized, which made them perfect as baby faces, because it's they're getting beat up on by big heels, and they're the perfect underdogs. That being said, that Ricky and Robert, they were small, especially compared to most wrestlers during those days. When you or Doc had to sell for them, is there a way to approach it where it makes sense?
Mean, that's just it. It's it's kind of like, and the way that Ricky and Robert worked. I mean, they didn't work like, they didn't strong arm anybody, because that's, they weren't that big.
Mm-hmm.
They finessed everybody. Their thing was, they did a lot of quick tagging in and tagging out, and it's kind of like, it's kind of like, like if we call the spot, and shoot him off, or I mean, I might even be in the heel, and I say, okay, shoot me in, so hit the ropes, and so when I hit the ropes and I come back, instead of taking a tackle, he leapfrogs me, and I go under, and I hit the ropes, and I come back, and he either drop kicks me, arm drags me, or something, and he's got the hold again, and I'm pounding the mat, pissed off.
Yeah. Okay. So the story is more like they're just kind of out wrestling you out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're out finessing us. They're not trying to match us strength for strength because they know they can't.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, Ted. Yeah, helping make sense of it all. By the end of May, Ricky and Robert will get a return title shot against you and Doc in Houston. But the match is going to have two special guest referees. One is Hector Guerrero, and the other one is Bill Dundee. So, Ted, you're not done with Hector Guerrero by any means. The following month, you and Doc will work with Hector and Chavo Guerrero Sr. on a few occasions in Houston. Ted, what can you tell us about working with the Guerreros and what they meant to the fans there in Texas?
Well, I mean, of course, Doc and I we're heels.
Mm-hmm.
We're heels, and we're working with Hector and Chavo.
Yeah.
Well, Houston, Texas. Oh my gosh! Remember the Alamo? The crowd in the Houston Coliseum was, I would say 60 or 70% Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
So the Guerreros were, a hot team and very good, which made what we did a lot easier. So yeah, I loved working with those guys. Not to mention the fact that, like me, their fathers were wrestlers.
Yep. Just an even deeper understanding and comprehension of the business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's a whole family of professional wrestlers, and they were all good.
I have to mention that eventually you and Doc are going to get a match with the Guerreros in a really interesting stipulation. It's Banda. Let me try this again. Banda Relero on a pole. I had to look this up, Ted, because I had no idea what it was. Apparently, it's that barbed stick that bullfighters will stick into the bull.
Yeah.
And it's up on a pole in a match with you guys against the Guerreros. So, Ted, you guys would lose this match with the Banderillero on a pole. And now I'm asking you to reach back 40 years, but I'm curious. It feels like somebody had to get stuck with this Banderillero for the audience to go home happy. Do you remember if you or Doc wound up getting stuck with this thing?
I can't remember it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I can't remember it. I mean, but there's got to be, there's got to be some either the thing that you got off the pole was gimmicked, so you're swinging it and hitting somebody, but you're not tearing his back apart.
Right. I mean, if I had to guess, I would think he went and retrieved it and started like swinging it around, and maybe you guys powdered and lost by DQ or something. Because who the hell wants to get stuck by one of those things?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, guys, time to take a quick break from the action to talk about our new sponsor, MyBookie. I'm so excited about these guys. And I know that you folks will be excited about the deal that we're going to be able to get for you here with them, because MyBookie offers you the opportunity to bet on professional wrestling. I mean, we all know how fun it is to place bets during football season, baseball season, basketball, whatever sport you're into. It's fun, and it makes it more exciting. Like, all of a sudden, you're interested in games that you would not have otherwise been interested in. Well, MyBookie is providing you that with professional wrestling. It doesn't matter if you're necessarily into the particular wrestler or into the match or into the angle or whatever's going on. You can get into it by placing bets at MyBookie. And this weekend is a great opportunity for it. WWE is running it back here this weekend. It's Saturday night's main event and Evolution, and MyBookie has got odds on every single match. So, I mean, look, the big one, as we all know, it's Goldberg and Gunther. And it's Goldberg's last match. Does he go over? Does Gunther get the win? Well, guess what? You get to place bets on it. How about Rollins versus LA Knight? The crowd loves LA Knight. I think that's become really obvious, but he's still a plus 350 underdog with Seth Rollins being set to be the main guy there in the WWE. Or how about TNA's Jordan Grace? She's taking on JC Jane for the NXT title. I mean, Jordan is on the rise, but JC Jane is kind of the chosen one there in NXT. Who's going to win that one? And you know what? It's not just about betting on winners at MyBookie. You can also bet on stuff like entrances, turns, shocking wins. And if you understand wrestling as well as you think you do, you can get paid as a result of it. It's time, guys. You need to go and sign up and use our code EGAP. We'll back you on your first deposit. $100 gets you an extra $50. $200 is going to get you an extra $100. We're talking about free money here, folks. What you do with it is up to you. Don't miss out on your opportunity with MyBookie, and don't miss these 2 shows this weekend. It's 1 weekend, 2 shows. This is a huge weekend in professional wrestling, and not only can you enjoy the action, you can make some money. Bet smart. Cash in only at MyBookie. At the start of June, Mid-South will run one of their biggest shows ever. It's the Superdome Extravaganza on June 1st, 1985. Yourself and Doc are going to retain the tag team belts against the Rock and Roll Express in front of approximately 11,000 fans. But Ted, this show is best remembered for Muhammad Ali getting involved in a match between Jake Roberts and the Snowman. Now, the Snowman, if you remember him, he's clearly being positioned as a JYD replacement during this time. And of course, there was no replacing JYD in Louisiana. Ted, Bill Watts is a very smart man, as we've discussed here on the show before. Why do you think he kept making the mistake of attempting to recreate JYD in his territory?
Well, I mean, it's the audience, it's kind of like, what's the audience you're appealing to? There were a lot of, I mean, there was as many black wrestling fans as there, well, maybe not in Houston, but, throughout Mid-South, Louisiana. And so there's a lot of black folks and a lot of black wrestling fans. And so I'm sure that's what he was trying to appeal to. And the thing about JYD, this guy he was one of my best friends. He was the best man at my wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And when I turned heel on him, and oh my gosh, Katie barred the door. I had to be careful. I mean, okay. One of our biggest markets was New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I just told him, I said, I am not driving my car to New Orleans the first time I wrestled JYD. And I remember old Grizzly Smith said, why? I said, because it'll be on blocks when I come out. Back then, their wrestling fans took their wrestling, very seriously. It was kind of like, it's kind of like when you go to a magic show. That dang guy couldn't really make a rabbit disappear, but he did.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the how, but
they believed it down there, and they loved JYD.
Oh my gosh, they did. They sure did. Well, and I think I told this story before. I tell a lot of stories over, and because of that, Grizzly Smith, Jake's dad, he was Bill Watts's guy who brought all the finishes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he himself, Grizzly had been a wrestler too, and but now he's working for Bill and taking care of the, getting all the money and all that other stuff, giving all the wrestlers their finishes for the night and all that. And so, I told Grizz, I said, I'm not driving my car to New Orleans. I had a Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. I said, it'll be on blocks when I come out.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, I'm neutral, so ride with me. I rode with him. And after the match, I come in and he comes in with his hands on his hips, just shaking his head. And I said, what's wrong, Riz? And I said, something wrong with the match. And he said, no. He says, the match was great. I said, so what's wrong? He said, they slit my tires.
They saw you getting out.
I mean, because I rode with him or he brought me to the building, they slit his tires. And I said, see? I said, the difference here, Grizz, is I wouldn't have had any tires.
Yep. You might not have had a car left. Too funny, dude. Um, Infamously, during Jake's match against the Snowman, Muhammad Ali is going to jump up on the apron, and when Ali hits Jake's partner, the Barbarian, Barbarian takes a bump.
Yeah.
When he hits Jake, Jake stumbles, but he doesn't bump for him. And Jake took a couple punches from Ali and never went down. After the match, Watts was pissed off at Jake and asked him why he didn't bump for the greatest boxer of all time. And Jake's simple reply was, I'm going to be here again next week, and he's not. This is a one-off for Ali. So Jake says that Muhammad Ali knew exactly what he was doing and even complimented Jake on being a smart businessman. Ted, what's your take on Jake Roberts refusing to go down for a punch from Muhammad Ali?
I love Jake, and Jake and I had so many great matches, and no, there's no doubt that he was a phenomenal worker.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pushing it a little bit. It's got, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you got Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest freaking boxers of all time, and he hits you, and you don't take a bump for him. That's pretty arrogant.
I gotta say, like when Jake explains it, it's like, all right, I can kind of see your point. But at the same time, you're at this huge show, and the idea is to send the audience home feeling great. Like, what would have made him feel really great is if Jake gets just not cold with one punch, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, what was the finish? I can't even remember what the finish was.
I want to say, if I'm remembering it right, I'll have to go back and watch the clip because it's the clip is out there, folks. If you've never seen it, go out of your way to check it out. It's a cool piece of wrestling history. But if I remember right, Barbarian gets knocked out. Jake stumbles, takes another punch, stumbles again, and I think he stumbles into the finish from the Snowman and gets pinned.
Yeah.
So that was it. But I think that the plan was that he's supposed to get knocked out and then get pinned by the Snowman.
Yeah.
So, funny, like looking back on it 40 years later, funny that Jake is just like, nope, I don't give a shit who he is. I'm not bumping for him. But, to your point, probably would have made the crowd there in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, but that's a little bit arrogant on Jake's part. I mean, my gosh, why do they have Muhammad Ali there?
Right.
Here's this special guest referee. And you come to that one spot in the match, and he doesn't go down. I'm sure he caught hell from Watts.
Oh yeah. Bill gave him the business after the match, but it didn't hurt Jake's push. He hammered on, and actually we'll be talking about you and Jake here in a minute. I think it's also worth noting that at this time, there's this great photo of Jim Duggan backstage at the Superdome with Muhammad Ali. And Jim, he's wearing burn makeup, and he's got a patch over one eye after being attacked by Skandar Akbar and Kamala with a fireball. Ted, what did you think about using a fireball to get over a story in professional wrestling?
Why not? I mean, I guess that's, that the way that if you're a heel, it's kind of like, because so many things have been done. So many things in wrestling have been done and they've been redone. The guy, the heel, he's got a gimmick in his tights, and that was my deal. I would hide the gimmick, and then I would load the glove.
Mm-hmm.
And I would put it up here where everybody could see me loading the glove. But a fireball, wow,
it's pretty wild,
unique for sure.
So Ted, coming out of the big Superdome show, you and Doc are going to be working a number of times with Jake Roberts and his tag team partner at the time, John Nord. Nord, as I mentioned, is working as the Barbarian at this time. And Jake is kind of taking him under his wing behind the scenes to try and smarten him up and help him improve.
Yeah.
That being said, Jake has said that at this time, Nord was big and raw and a little bit dangerous in the ring.
Yeah.
Ted, what did you think about stepping into the ring with a big road grader like John Nord back in 1985?
Well, same thing. It's just, big impressive guy, but you got to do your, it's just like when I started in the business. Even though I grew up in the business and had a good feeling for it before I ever started, You're dealing with somebody who's a beginner,
Hmm.
and you've got to treat him. You got to work around that.
Yes.
And what's kind of like I can remember it's like when they were when Bill was about to turn the heel, JYD, and I remember talking to Terry Funk, and I said, Terry, I said, yeah, what's the best way for me to wrestle JYD, because he's great on the microphone, he's got so much charisma, but he's not really a great wrestler. He said, Teddy, you got to put him in the middle of the ring and work around him.
And the same thing with a guy like John Nord, right? You just
Yeah.
kind of bump around him.
Yeah. You got to put him in the middle of the ring and work around. You then have to create all of the action.
So I think it's worth noting Jake Roberts had come back to Mid-South here in early 1985 after a run in WCCW as a Stone Cold heel. And, here in Mid-South, he's brought in and he's very well positioned as a heel. He busts open Terry Taylor with a DDT on a chair in a pretty infamous moment. Like he's doing all the evil stuff. However, it was around this time that the audience started to turn Jake into a babyface. And pretty soon he's going to split off from John Nord and become a singles babyface in Mid-South Wrestling.
Wow.
Ted, what do you think it is? Because this has happened to Jake Roberts throughout his career, time and time again, whenever he goes somewhere, the fans want to cheer him despite his skills as a heel. Why do you think that is?
I really don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I think probably most of it has to do with the DDT, if I had to guess. He had such a cool finish that I think that fans couldn't help but pop for it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's kind of like, if Jake loses, then obviously they're not going to see the DDT because he doesn't have the opportunity to do it.
So you think that fans started to cheer him because they just wanted to see the DDT?
Yeah. They wanted to see that awesome finish of his. So.
Ted, when it came to taking the DDT, I've heard a few different schools of thought on the best way to take a DDT and not get killed by it. What's the best method in your mind?
I never really thought about it. I mean, it's kind of like, you just got to be the way that Jake positions you. I mean, it looks like he drives your head into the mat, but it really doesn't. And it's placement. Like you get about this close.
Oh yeah.
But you don't actually ever hit the mat. Your head doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because he's got you covered, and he does that thing, and bam, and he bounces up, and you roll over. So.
Yeah, nowadays a lot of guys kind of try to spike themselves where they put all their weight on their forearm and have their feet sticking straight up in the air. It looks like it kills them, but Jake himself has said, like, look, if you're going to take the DDT, you either roll with it, like roll through, or you just flatten out and turn your head. And that's kind of like the safe method to do it. But Jake has also said that it was impossible to give somebody a DDT on a hard surface. So he nearly killed Ricky Steamboat, giving him a DDT on the concrete. It was Steamboat's desire to take that DDT, and Jake was like, I'm going to hurt you. Steamboat's like, I can protect myself. He didn't. He got a horrible concussion.
Yeah.
And then, he did the same thing to Hulk Hogan, DDT'd him on the stage and broke him open. So, I mean, the move is kind of a shoot, but, if you're in a ring, there's enough padding to protect you a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, phenomenal conversation as always, Ted. We are going to continue the story of your time in Mid-South next time. We'll be talking about July and August here in a few weeks. And there was so much going on, including an outdoor show where you wrestled Jake as a babyface. And one of the most unique, I'm going to spoil it a little bit. It's one of the most unique ways that I've ever seen the DDT applied. You go to load your glove and you drop the load on the mat. You go to pick it up. And when you're bent over, Jake hooks you for the DDT. Just phenomenal stuff. I can't wait to discuss it. But yeah, dude, as always, I appreciate your time and looking back here 40 years to Mid-South.
Well, brother, hey, listen, I appreciate your time too. And I hope that the fans are enjoying the podcast, you know. So
We're getting great feedback from the fans. They love hearing from you and getting weekly updates. And speaking of weekly updates, Ted, where are you going to be next?
I am flying to Milwaukee on Saturday, and I'm actually making an appearance at a baseball game. It's Sunday. I fly in there Saturday, but this is a Chinooks. I think that's Chinooks. Chinooks baseball. I guess Chinooks is the name of the baseball team, and it's on. It's Sunday, July the 13th, and I'll be signing autographs there, and then I'll fly in there Saturday, and then they got me out, boy, right. I'm gonna make the appearance at the baseball game, and actually fly out the same time, the same day, Sunday. I mean, you talk about a quick trip. I fly up there on Saturday, and then I turn around and I fly home on Sunday. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw is right. Folks, if you're in the area, get out there to the Chinooks game, get out there and meet Ted, and get back here next week and enjoy a new episode with myself and the $1 Million Man. Ted, thank you again for your time today.
Marcus, you're the best, buddy. Thank you. And folks, as I go, let me once again remind you that everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
We'll catch you guys next time right here on Everybody's Got a Pod.